Hello, bonjour, and welcome to your new Bonner Private Wines video where we learn and explore together the wonderful world of wine weekly. Today, I want to take you again to Spain and continue exploring with you its wine wonders led by the wines that you are going to be receiving very soon in our upcoming Spanish wine collection from the club. Let me tell you about a stunning wine country that the lively people of Barcelona call their garden, where they love to spend their weekends and have their occasional wine escapes to, an area that is to Barcelona and Catalonia what Sonoma or the Napa Valley are to San Francisco, or what upstate New York or Long Island are to New Yorkers. Let me tell you about the beautiful and incredibly diverse wine appellation of Penedes. Let's dive in. Penedes is not a very famous name on the international wine scene, not a name that anyone a little interested in wine in the US or the UK, for example, would know about, but it is the most important wine area in this rich part of northeastern Spain that has its own culture and language and that surrounds the delightful city of Barcelona and called Catalonia. In Catalonia, you have two major cities. Barcelona is by far the biggest with an international notoriety, and the other one, very significant locally, is Tarragona. The rural area of Penedes is located exactly in the middle of them, about 40 miles or an hour driving from each urban hub. So it is, for many locals, one of their favorite weekend or holiday destinations if they're after beautiful landscapes and outdoor activities, and perhaps a few wine tastings too. Penedes has everything in terms of landscapes and terroirs, and that's because it's a large valley that goes down from the mountains to the Mediterranean Sea, so landscapes and vegetation are extremely diverse. As a consequence, the grapes that you can grow and the wines that you can make are very varied too. I'll get to the styles of wines produced here in just a minute, but so you understand how it comes to be, you have to know how the area is structured in terms of its topography and geography. The top of the valley is called the Alt Penedes, or the High Penedes in Catalan, and lies higher up in the hills between 1600 and 2600 feet of altitude. So it's quite some solid altitude. It's not Argentina, but it's pretty high. This area is cooler and greener, therefore, featuring stunning mountain background and counts with many lush green vineyards benefiting from those milder growing conditions, which allows to make the freshest white wine styles in the area. The part of Penedes that's on the coast is called the Baix Penedes, or the Low Penedes in Catalan, because of course it's at about sea level, so we have here a true Mediterranean climate, really dry and warm in winter, hot of course in summer, a perfect touristic destination with its delightful little historic port towns and beautiful beaches. The vines you can grow here on the coast are therefore specialized in the production of full-bodied red wines. The Medio Penedes or Middle Penedes is a transitional area between the two, therefore a very versatile and fertile area where a lot of vineyards are located and a part that can produce quite a lot of wines. It's the biggest producing area within Penedes itself. Now, for a quick reference point, the famous and quite large Spanish wine region of Rioja that you've probably heard about, so famous it's further to the east of northern Spain, produces about 300 million bottles of wine per year. That's Rioja. Penedes, in comparison, makes about 5% of that, so about 15 million bottles annually. So it's not small, but it's not nearly as big. Needless to say that the millions of foreign or Catalan and Spanish tourists visiting the area, especially during the hot months, drink their fair share of those 15 million bottles per year. Just they drink them locally while they're on vacation. So let's talk about what kind of wines they can buy and taste while in Penedes. Firstly, essentially, Penedes is the area that produces the huge majority of grapes for the popular Spanish sparkling wine style called Cava. Cava is the Spanish champagne or the Spanish Prosecco, although it is much closer in quality and style to champagne than it is to Prosecco. Well, the grapes for Cava can be made pretty much anywhere in Spain legally. 95% in fact of those grapes that are used for the production of Spanish Cava in the whole of Spain come from Penedès. Even the city that is considered the capital city of Cava, where most of the most famous and popular Cava houses are located, like Freixenet or Codorniu, the city of Sant Sadurní d'Anoia is located in the Alt Penedès, so the highest part of Penedès, as we've discussed. Naturally, those Cava wineries source most of their grapes around them, so from the high Penedès. The grapes used for Cava are mainly local ones, really crisp and vibrant whites like Macabeo, Perrelada, Xarel-lo, although they use quite a bit of Chardonnay as well to give it a bit more modern and maybe refined touch also. Aside from the bubblies, many local producers that are not sparkling wine makers use those same grapes to make vibrant and crisp, still white wines. So you'll find delicious Chardonnays from Penedes as well. You'll also find wines from local grapes that are not used as sparklings, but as still wines like Perrelada. You can even find some crisp whites that are made from Riesling and Gewürztraminer, more German grapes, which is to say that it is a fairly cool climate area thanks to those altitude vineyards. Now, in the mid Penedes and the low Penedes is where you're going to be finding the coastal heat, and therefore producers can make the more traditional Mediterranean style of bigger, rich reds from the typical Spanish Mediterranean grapes like Garnacha, Grenache or Carignan in French, Monastrell, Mourvèdre, or even the occasional Tempranillo. A very famous and notable producer of Penedes that you need to hear about is the one that is credited with pioneering wine quality in the area for non-sparkling wines. Especially the largest winery here is called Torres, founded in 1870 by brothers Jaime and Miguel Torres. They have all along the 20th century pulled the reputation of Penedes up with quality products and a focus on exports with brands like the popular wine Sangre de Toro, the bull's blood, that is popular all around the world, I believe, in supermarkets, or their Grand Coronas, Reserva Cabernet Sauvignon. They also make many high-end small production reds like their famous Mas La Plana or their Reserva Real. Now, Penedes produces indeed also a lot of excellent Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot grapes, as they planted quite a bit of those around the 1990s when those French grapes were so popular globally everywhere. They had to plant some of those too, like the wine that you're going to be receiving, that we're bringing you as part of our next collection from the club. Now, thanks to Torres and also their own efforts, many small producers now make excellent wines in Penedes, the crisp white wines, but also fine reds that they're able to sell locally to visitors, which always helps financially, but also sometimes export them. But not all that often do they export them, because Penedes, as an appellation name, despite being quite famous and prestigious in Catalonia and in Spain, is not all that well known internationally. But now you know. Thanks for watching. Keep watching the channel. Subscribe if you're not already. Give it a like to support. It helps us making more of those videos. And I will see you soon in the wonderful world of wine. Cheers.